Welcome and thank you for joining me again on my Life Coach Full broadcast, where we continue to talk about rejection. Today, I'm going to talk about the types of rejection. The types of rejection. Last time, we talked about the fact that we need to understand that rejection happens, it's part of life, but how we respond and deal with the rejection determines the flow of your life. And we reminded each other that you are not a reject, you are not useless, you are very useful. See it as a way of God redirecting you anytime you are rejected. So, today we're going to be talking about the types of rejection. Obviously, there are so many types of rejection out there that people have come up with. I will not be able to exhaust them all, so I'm just going to talk about a few in the time that I have today. Types of rejection. Number one, some common types of rejection include familial rejection. And this is rejection from one's family of origin. Typically, parental rejection may consist of abuse, abandonment, neglect, or the withholding of love and affection. And when we withhold love and affection, the child can interpret it as rejection. So it's very important to, especially to us as parents, to do our best. Sometimes because of our backgrounds, where we came from, sometimes you find yourself because you never, received affection. Sometimes you parent that way, but we need to change as we go from generation to generation and do better. And sometimes, when we talk about family or familial rejection, this form of rejection is likely to affect an individual throughout their entire lifetime. This is the type of rejection where sometimes if there was neglect and sometimes somebody is parents passes away and they have to be raised by a different family, and sometimes the way they are treated is different from their biological children. And so when they grow up, the seeds of rejection are planted. So they're always saying, if only my father was here. So it's very important that we really, especially as parents, in families there, the way we treat each other, even as siblings, let's be aware that we don't plant seeds, generational seeds of um, rejection. And also on this note, I also want to maybe touch on even to pregnant women. When you are pregnant, it's important to know how the baby grows in the womb. I believe they tell us that like at 18 weeks, the baby in the womb can now begin to hear the mother's heartbeat and the rumbling in the stomach. And at around 25 or 26 weeks, the child can actually hear what's happening outside of the womb, in the outside world. So, sometimes that's when we say even the music that you play, it can be soothing to them. You can talk to the baby in the tummy. You can pray with them. You can read the word of God with them. Why? Because they can hear. So can you imagine if you have all kinds of emotion and you speak bad things about the child, especially to those maybe you had not planned to have a child at that particular time. Can you imagine you just verbalizing, I didn't want to get pregnant at this time. This is unplanned and they're going to mess up my life. Can you imagine that? So be careful. Be careful. Even when that child is born, some statements, let's be intentional on the statements that we say in our children's hearing. That can plant seeds of rejection. So, number two, there's also what we call social rejection. This type of rejection may occur at any age and can often begin in childhood. Social rejection can include bullying and alienation in school or at the workplace. But it can also extend to any social group. So when we talk about social rejection, we're talking about different kinds of, groups of people being rejected, or, sometimes we talk about even issues of immigrants migrating to a different country. You might feel rejection based on what's being said and everything. And the way you respond to that rejection is very important. We need to know that it does happen. It is part of life, but how you respond, your control is on how you respond to it. Number 3, rejection in a relationship. People may experience rejection whilst dating or in a relationship. For example, an individual may refuse someone and say, no, I'm not going to go out with you. So those are really rejection in relationships. Or even when an individual decides to end a relationship. In this case, we might even give an example of a divorce where one party says, you know what, I'm done, I'm going, I'm so gone. And then they go, pack their bags and leave. Spirits and of rejection, seeds of rejection can be planted by doing that. And if there are children involved in that relationship, rejection can also affect children. Children might think, oh, it's my fault that my parents divorced, that they separated. It's a whole lot of things that happen. So that's rejection in a relationship. There's also romantic relationship, rejection that happens when somebody denies somebody. So, on this one, I always tell people, when I'm helping people dealing with the spirit of rejection, I always say, you know what, even as you are listening to this message, I want you to listen with an ear of not only of the one being rejected, but also of the one that rejects. Because when you know these things, you are able to adjust in the way you make people feel, in the way you talk around people, in the way you interact with people. Because not only are we rejected, we also reject people. Yeah, we also reject people. So it's very important to be aware of how we talk, how we handle situations, how we interact with people, words that we say. Words can kill. Words can plant seeds of rejection. Very, very important. So I was laughing with somebody the other day. I said, I was helping them with dealing with this issue. And I said, we are all in the business of rejecting and being rejected. Huh? So sometimes, like to the ladies out there, somebody might be saying, no, I never reject people. But to all the young ladies out there, all the young ladies out there, somebody, a boy comes and they say, oh, I want your hand in marriage, or I love you, I want to marry you. And if you don't feel the same way, what do? You reject them. You say no. And sometimes our no is accompanied with harsh words. Oh, he's not my type. Oh, he's like this. He's not good looking. He's that. And can you imagine the boy gets to hear all that stuff that we say? My young ladies out there. Mm? Yeah. He's not educated. He's not. That boy will feel rejected. So sometimes we need to watch what we say. I've been there. I was young at one time. Now I'm married and children and grandchildren. But there was a stage where also people would come and say, oh, I love you. I want to marry you. And then would say no. And I remember with my friends would say, how can you even try to come? Some words that we say. So I want you to know that on life here on earth, there's business of being rejected and also you rejecting others. So be careful the words that you say. The words that you say. when you are saying no to somebody. Be careful. Be careful. The words are powerful. Words are powerful. But anyway, I will end here today. Those are just, just brief types of um, rejection that are out there. There's so many more, but because of my time, I'll end here. And again, this is My Life Coach full broadcast. And please don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at My Life Coach Full. I will meet you again on the next broadcast where we're going to be talking about manifestations of rejection. God bless you, and I hope you have a great and blessed day.